Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. We are convened as we try and get members of the media at the back to go easy on us. I hope I'm audible. Can I just check that?
Yes.
Very audible.
Yes.
All right. We are convened this morning just to do a quick recap of the proceedings of the General Council yesterday. This is a commitment that we had made to have these daily updates that reflects on the previous day and also provide a looks ahead for what is to happen today. I'd like to indicate that yesterday the meeting received 3 reports, those of the President, the midterm report that was delivered by the Secretary General on behalf of the National Executive Committee, which was open, both reports that were open to members of the media, speaking to the culture of the ANC and the renewed focus on transparency. We also received, in a closed session, the report of the Treasurer General. So all of those 3 reports respectively. So we looked at the state of organization, we looked at the national political situation and economic situation, and all of these that I've indicated. As we indicate that for the first time, the ANC delivered its state of the organization report in the presence of the media. We withheld nothing. It was a frank and honest account to the membership and the people of South Africa. Today we proceed. We've already started with the business of day 2 of the NGC. We're having 10 commissions that are currently in progress, and they're all looking at the state of the National Democratic Revolution in South Africa and the balance of forces that helps us to answer the question, what is to be done? Then the plenary will convene in a closed session to receive reports from the Commission. We, of course, will also receive the presentation of the base document that has informed all contributions that have been made in the run-up to this National General Council. Members of the media, this document was released to yourselves sometime in August, having been launched in July, enabling all structures of the ANC to use it to plan and to think about the future of the ANC and to think about the inputs to be made at this National General Council. And so it was also released for public debate. Some people picked on it, analysts wrote about it, and today we're allowing branches of the ANC to consolidate their inputs so that the final declaration of this NGC and the resolutions should be better informed by what's coming from within our structures, but also taking into account sentiments by South Africans. We will later today reconvene the Freedom Charter night that was slated for yesterday, but could not take place given the fact that the session that was looking at our financial report took longer, and it became important to ensure that that is done justice with, and that we can then proceed with the Freedom Charter night later today. We have a running media schedule. As you would have seen, Newsroom 24 with our Minister of International Relations and Cooperation. And so this is what we're going to be doing throughout the course of the day, where members of the media will have a chance of having sit-downs with key and identified communication messages of the ANC. I would like to leave it at that, really. That's just a quick update. And I'd like to turn to yourselves, members of the media. Floor is open. I don't see a hand. I'm happy to step off. Oh, okay. Please identify yourself.
Inside politics. I just want any sort of update regarding payment of salaries and the process happening yesterday.
Well, I'm trying to look at members of staff who are here to establish which ones are still not yet paid, because I think we have attended to that matter. And there are ongoing conversations between the union that represents staff of the ANC, Nehau, and management at Lutuli House. That is ongoing. We are committed to doing what is correct, because the ANC wants to turn around the situation of making sure that our talented members of staff are remunerated on time and consistently as it should be, because they contribute a lot to the success of our organization, and we need them up and running to do that support, and also to be able to attend to the welfare of their own families. Can I take other questions? Yes, go ahead.
From I just want to know, in the Secretary General of ANC recently yesterday talk about the state of
May you please raise your voice?
Yeah, the Secretary General in his written report, he talked about the state of branches in the ANC, and he painted a very bleak picture of KwaZulu-Natal, which was one of the crown jewel of the ANC. Now it seems that there's no branches in good standing in KZN. What will the ANC do to turn the tide in KZN?
Thank you very much. I just need to correct that a bit. There are branches in good standing in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Indeed, you are correct that it is not what we desire. The program of rebuilding the ANC in KwaZulu-Natal is still steaming ahead. We are continuing with that work. We will be reinforcing, for example, the deployment of organizers in that province. We will also be reinforcing the work of the provincial task team that was set up to help us to recover in that province. And so we identify it as one of the key areas and one of our key pressure points. You are correct in saying that it is a bleak and a stark reality that we need to contend with. But we must hasten to say we are also quite humbled by some of the work that is done by our deployees in KZN in the provincial government. And I particularly would use the example of the work that's being done in the transport and the human settlements environment. I think members of the media should look out for that kind of work, and would like to also avail the MEC that has literally led a massive campaign to make KwaZulu-Natal a safer place, to make KwaZulu-Natal a place that is accident-free in terms of the roads, and a place also where those that violate public laws and bylaws are made to face the law. I am looking for Gert. Yes?
No, he covered my question.
You are covered. Okay, thank you.
Maybe just a couple of my witnesses. Maybe just a short one, maybe. Understand, obviously, the Treasury Journal's report was presented in committee. But maybe what can you share about maybe the state of the finances of the ANC? Because as that report was obviously being shared, there are obviously a number of ANC staffers who since being saying that have been paid. So maybe what can you share maybe about the financial status of the ANC?
Thank you very much for that question. It is important, members of the media, and to our own members across the country and the people of South Africa, to mention, and this is a point that the Secretary General keeps mentioning, to mention and state that organizations, political formations such as the African National Congress, that were at the coalface of a struggle against apartheid, and relied largely on donations from allies all over the world, And here I'm mentioning allies from the Netherlands, from the Scandinavian countries, from many parts of Europe. Today, the ANC has transitioned into government, and therefore that donor environment has shrunk, not just for the ANC. This is not unique to the ANC, but it has shrunk to the detriment of parties that are in government but are still pursuing the liberation project. So I think that we need to take that matter into account. And why are we raising this? We're raising this because the African National Congress is a very big organization, unlike many parties in this country, in terms of our membership and in terms of our reach and spread across the country in various wards and VDs across our country. It is important that we are self-sustaining. We are currently looking at a number of models that are going to help us to be self-sustaining. And that is just but one of the issues that we are currently facing. And of course, with the wake of the Party Funding Act and the restrictions that it places, it means that the African National Congress must be dutiful to the law and work within that legislation. It does place limits on bigger parties. It may work for smaller parties, but we've made it clear that it doesn't work as best as it should for parties as big as the African National Congress. We are committed to really designing more revenue-generating strategies so that we can sustain ourselves. But having said so, it's interesting that even when we were in exile, even when we were prosecuting the struggle against apartheid, we had no money, but we were able to do the work. And even under these new conditions, the resilience of the ANC is still there and it will continue to be there. We do wish to give that particular assurance that is the case. And we continue to do that work as we are expected to do it. Our staff are our biggest treasure. Without them, the leadership can do nothing. And so it's important that we fully attend to the benefits environment and the remuneration environment of our staff members, and that's a commitment and the matters that the Treasurer General is seized with. So that would have been part of the discussion, but obviously we're looking at much more bigger financial policy issues when we come to a body such as the National General Council. I am looking for a hand.
Maybe if you can have a follow-up, Mahlengi. You
Yes.
said you're trying to generate more revenue. Does this maybe sort of include, I know obviously other political parties, they take a substantial amount of the people they send to represent them, whether in municipal council, provincial legislature or parliament. Is that something you're also looking at, and maybe having those, making it mandatory for people that represent the ANC in those councils, legislatures and parliament to actually contribute a certain amount of their salaries?
Well, most certainly. I hope everybody was able to hear the question. Most certainly, our public deployees are levied by the ANC and are levied reasonably so that they themselves can be able to feed their families. I always say that if the ANC was a corrupt party, not individuals, the ANC as an organization, if it was a corrupt party, we would not be poor. We would be tapping into the resources of the state as a governing party. So that's something to note. But I can say that for sure, we're focusing on building and strengthening our machinery, and we need resources to be able to do so. And that work is ongoing. But I do want to stress that you've seen a number of political parties when they come into power, and then they grow their headquarters, they grow everything because they can access resources of the state. We can't access resources of the state because it will be fraud, it will be illegal. We have to work with what is applicable, and that is what we're doing. We are clearly done here, and we will then be available for those one-on-one interviews for those that wish to request those, and then we will keep yourselves updated through the WhatsApp groups that we have